UN calls out Philippines for coronavirus quarantine human rights violations. The United Nations has called out several countries' governments, including the Philippines, for implementing repressive measures in an attempt to enforce lockdowns. The intergovernmental organization pointed out that they have recorded human rights violations in countries such as the Philippines, South Africa, El Salvador, Sri Lanka, and China amid the coronavirus pandemic. Michelle Bachelet, the UN High Commissioner for Human Rights, connected these human rights violations to the use of police and security forces in the implementation of curfew rules. Most of the victims of these human rights violations reportedly come from poor and informal settlements. Bachelet said that over 120,000 Filipinos have been arrested so far for violating lockdown rules, but implementing quarantines does not allow governments to quash dissent, control the population, and even perpetuate their time in power. Many are simply trying to search for food or find ways to survive, but end up getting shot, detained, or abused in the process. According to CNN, police abuse has been reported in several checkpoints across the Philippines. Recently, a police officer was charged with homicide after killing a retired mentally ill soldier for allegedly violating quarantine protocols. In Antipolo, Rizal, authorities detained 39 quarantine violators for 8 to 10 hours without any food or drink, while 5 youths in Laguna were notoriously kept in the dog cage for violating curfew. In Quezon City, officials struck a fish vendor with a rattan stick for not wearing a face mask. Philippine President Rodrigo Duterte himself has warned of a lockdown similar to martial law if people continue to violate quarantine rules. Philippine Vice President Leni Robredo, however, has warned officials, "Our enemy is the virus and not our fellow Filipinos." Keeping the violators in a small space might also encourage further infection. Bachelet called the practice both unnecessary and unsafe, considering that jails and prisons are high-risk environments. She continues to call on world leaders to protect human rights and not violate them under the guise of quarantine implementation. Emergency power should not be a weapon governments can wield to quash dissent, control the population, and even perpetuate their time in power, she explained. The Philippine Daily Inquirer previously reported that the Philippine Presidential Palace had taken note of concerns on alleged human rights violations against quarantine offenders.
Thank you.